What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm not going to do any French singing today. Again, my name is Richard Allen. We're going to talk about the fourth day of the BNGO Bionano Genomics Cytogenetics Symposium? It's symposium. I'm kidding. I'm going to throw you guys off a little bit because you probably think I'm going to pick somebody else, but I picked the lady from Stanford to go over today because she actually speaks like a normal human being for some of her presentation. So I actually did it a little bit differently. Today I recorded some of the presentation for you guys. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna go over her portion of the presentation that I really think is relevant. And I think it's teaching me more about Bionano Genomics, and I hope it's helping you as well make a more informed decision if you choose to invest in this company, or maybe you're just geeking out on genetics and genomics. I don't know. The ARC-G fund did very well last year, so it wouldn't be too stupid of you to geek out about genomics, because genomics that industry could have a freaking fantastic year this year. It really, really could. We're gonna jump right into the video. I hope you enjoy it, and then I'll be back in a couple minutes here, and we'll talk about what we think. Okay? So stick around.
Thanks so much for the opportunity to present at the Bionano Symposium in this virtual format. I'm excited to share with you our clinical genetic study of a Mexican kindred with an ataxin 10 repeat expansion, and tell you more about how we use optical mapping and no-amp targeted sequencing, which supports our understanding of clinical molecular genetics of repeat expansion disorders. This slide gives you some background about the clinical presentation of spinocerebellar ataxia type 10. It's a rare autosomal dominant disorder, presenting first with gait problems, followed by disturbance of speech and eye movements, and some patients develop dementia and mood abnormalities. In addition, seizures are a common feature and usually occur several years after the onset of symptoms. Average age at onset is 34 years, and average disease duration is about 13 years. Only symptomatic treatment like anti-seizure therapy is available to date. So now the genetics of SCA10 is based on an expansion of an intronic pentanucleotide repeat in the ataxin 10 gene, and was first described by Dr. Ashizawa's group in 2000. The normal repeat length is 10 to 32 repeats, whereas intermediate repeats are 280 to 850 repeats in length. And we see full penetrance of the disease over 850 repeats. That means you need to detect expansions that are between 4.2 and 22 kilobases in length, which can be quite challenging technically. So in this study, I want to tell you about how we use optical mapping through Bionano and PacBio no-amp targeted sequencing to resolve this ataxin 10 repeat expansion. We wanted to analyze DNA samples from affected and unaffected individuals from a SCA10 family and apply no-amp targeted sequencing and optical mapping from Bionano Genomics. Clinically, we wanted to better understand phenotype-genotype correlations. For example, how does repeat length affect the clinical phenotype? How does the repeat composition affect the clinical phenotype? And can we assess somatic mosaicism of the repeat expansion? So to learn more about this repeat expansion and to understand the underlying clinical differences, we first use high-resolution optical mapping. In brief, this technology relies on fluorescently labeled ultra-high molecular weight DNA, which is then run on a flow cell with nanochannels and imaged. And those images are analyzed and assembled in a genomic map, and we can detect structural variants. So here are two examples. In this case, parent-child, as you can see in the partial pedigree on the right, and in individual 4-3, we found a 6.2 kilobase expanded allele, and in 4-7, which is the daughter, we see a much larger expansion of about 13 kilobases, with a number of smaller expansions indicated distribution of the green signal in the histogram below. The distribution of these alleles are also shown in the box plot on the right, which we think is reflecting somatic mosaicism and not technical errors. The second technology we applied was no-amp targeted sequencing, with a goal not only to size the repeat, but also to resolve the repeat composition. On the left, you see the standard workflow for no-amp sequencing by PacBio, and in the middle and right, you have examples on how these data can look like and can be displayed. So to explore the repeat structure, we have waterfall plots. And on the y-axis, you can see the number of reads. And on the x-axis, you can see the length of the repeat expansions in base pairs. To examine the repeat characteristics, histograms are very useful and allow for the confirmation of the allele sizes for the normal and the expanded allele, and can show the extent of mosaicism of the expanded allele. So in conclusion, the CRISPR-Cas9 or no-amp smart sequencing technology combined with optical mapping allows for accurate sizing of the repeat expansion, can resolve the entire repeat expansion, and establish somatic mosaicism. Exact repeat sizing and composition is critical for clinical practice and genetic counseling, and really can influence disease penetrance, clinical symptoms, and consequently disease trajectory.
Okay, guys, so the biggest thing I wanted you to take away from that whole section was that in this study from Stanford, right, this doctor, she didn't only use Bionano Genomics Sapphire instrument. I'll call it an instrument for you guys. I'm sorry, I was calling it a machine yesterday. But she didn't only use Bionano Genomics technology. She used PacBio, right, Pacific Biosciences, which is the largest holding in ARC-G fund. And then they used the CRISPR-Cas9 technology as well. So, like we talked about in the last video, Bionano Genomics and their Sapphire instrument system is complementary to these other systems and instruments, okay? That's something that I'm learning this week more than anything else, is that I believe that institutions, universities, companies are going to realize that they need Bionano Genomics Sapphire system as a complementary system with their other machines and systems. That's what I'm learning. I believe that this is just the beginning for Bionano Genomics, and that's why I purchased shares of Bionano Genomics yesterday. I finally got in, and some of you guys are saying, well, you got in late. Well, you're right if you factor in all of this crazy run-up over the last month that it's up 1,500%. But my system and the way I trade doesn't require me to hit home runs. It requires me to take calculated risks. Somebody else mentioned, well, you know, if you're putting money in that you're just, you know, it could go up or it could go down, you're just gambling. No, I completely disagree, because with any investment decision that you make, it's a risk. It's not a gamble necessarily, unless you're just guessing, but it's a risk. If you're taking calculated risks, if you have high conviction with a company, if you've done the research and you think that the company has something and you like the potential future of the company, is it really a gamble? Sort of. But no, I think it's a risk. And if you're taking calculated risks, you can make money. Here's what I'm banking on, or what I'm thinking might happen with Bionano Genomics / BNGO stock. I think my hope is, and the reason I bought $1,000 worth of shares, not a ton of money, not a ton, but enough that if they go on a similar track to PacBio this year, that PacBio did last year, that $1,000 that I invested when I invested it turns into a lot more than $1,000. That's what I'm hoping. But if I'm wrong and the company starts to tank, I didn't lose a ton of money, right? That's my rationale. That's my thinking. That's the calculated risk I'm taking. And I'm willing to take that risk because I'm learning. This week, I'm learning that Pacific Biosciences and CRISPR and all of these different things and Bionano Genomics, they're all complementary to each other. Optical genome mapping is important because it catches things, it catches these rearrangements and variants and mutations that these other systems don't catch. That's what I'm learning. And I think somebody said it great yesterday in the comments. A pump and dump scheme, a company that's just trying to pump and dump, wouldn't hold a week-long symposium. Also, all of these doctors and universities wouldn't put their reputations on the line, their schools on the line, their research on the line, if this was all a farce, if this was all a pump and dump. That's why I'm excited about this company. And this symposium has been planned for a while, right? So it just happened to come around the time that we had delisting scares, right? It just happened to come around that same time, and it just happened to get on people's radar. And I think that this company has a bright future. I really, really do. But again, I always could be wrong, and you guys need to do your own research. I've done a lot of research into this company, and I've watched all of these symposiums, and that's kind of what I've been doing the last few days. That's why I've been posting late. It's been taking up a lot of my time, but I think it's worth it. I think this $1,000 investment can turn into much, much more for me anyway. And that's already up 30-40% from where I bought it personally. And in a day, that's a pretty damn good investment. I'm not worried about the 1,500% gain that I missed out on, right? It's up 40% in a day, which is just boggling my mind. But that's an investment for me that I'll check up on every once in a while, but I'm going to let it ride out for the rest of the year because I really do believe in the company. I really, really do. So thank you for all of you that have kept me grounded through this experience with BNGO in the comments and saying, hey, jump in. I think it's a good idea. I've done the research for months. I've researched this company. I think they have something because that has helped me out too. So let's keep that dialogue going. Guys, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're interested in seeing how I trade on a daily basis, and I do trade on a daily basis, I swing trade a lot. I'm trying to 10x my money, and I'm documenting the whole experience over on the Patreon. If you're interested in that sort of thing, along with a watch list and just great company in the Discord, we're almost at 700 members already, and we just started on December 20th. It's crazy. It's boggling my mind. If you're interested in that sort of thing, there's a link down in the description. I would love to have you join the community over there because it's absolutely amazing. And a lot of us are making some good calls with the stock market lately. So I would appreciate having you over there as well and join the community. So thank you guys so much. As always, if you didn't already do it, click that beautiful red subscribe button down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.